we want to talk about the communal extract systems and a brief overview. These are generally found served in bathrooms where they have no opening windows in high-rise blocks. There's various designs of fans that are connected to roofs, to individual flats, and these systems take away a lot of smells, a lot of steam, moisture, and other parts that I don't want to go into now, when you can imagine what a bathroom extract would take away. And it's important that the systems are maintained for the quality of removing all the moisture and the odours. There's various different types of ventilation systems in high-rise blocks and low-rise blocks, because we always think of social housing as high-rise, but it's not. Majority of social housing can be quite low-rise blocks, maybe 1 or 2 stories up high. And the main difference between the two is the high-rise blocks normally only have 1 or 2 risers running up either side of the building, going to a central fan or central fans to discharge off the roof, where the low-rise ones tend to have a lot of smaller risers with lots of numbers of fans. So there's more maintenance in some of the smaller, lower rise than the actual high-rise blocks. There's a typical schematic slide. So what we normally see when we're driving, walking past, is obviously the outside of the building. But when Swiftclean or subcontractors like us look at buildings like that, we see the left-hand side, where we have the 2 riser ducts rising up from the ground to the floor to the central fans. And these little lines here represent the stubs of the ductwork coming from a bathroom extract or a kitchen extract or a toilet extract. Depending on the type of property that you're looking at or looking after, you can have 1 grill inside the property, or you could have up to 3 or 4 grills, depending on how many bathrooms, if they've got a separate bathroom to toilet and a kitchen extract. So it's out of sight and it's normally out of mind for a lot of people, including the residents, and that's one of the important things that we have to understand. These are not units and just people live in these places, and they've got the right to have a decent home life with vented systems working. And unfortunately, as most of you will know, most of these blocks are 40 to 50 years old, and so is the mechanical equipment in there that's trying to run these ventilation systems. 90% of the blocks that we get asked to look at have never been cleaned before. They might have had a cosmetic grill clean or a grill change, and maybe the little shunt ducts, the little lines you can see going across, have had an attempted clean, but very rarely do we get asked to go and look at a block and we've actually seen it's been cleaned from the entirety, from top to bottom. The fans need overhauling. Some of these fans are 40 years old. They may not have the original bearings and the belts, but the actual fans itself are that old, and some of them now are not actually efficient enough to actually draw out. Social housing has changed over the years. When this typical block of flats there was built, on the left-hand side you have 1-bedroom flats, and on the right-hand side you have 2- and 3-bedroom flats. So with the idea of 1 bedroom is normally 1 or 2 people living in there. 2 to 3 bedroom is between 3 to 5 people living in there. We do come across social housing now that have 7 or 8 people living in these flats because we just haven't got enough housing stock in this country to actually house everyone. So that's putting a massive strain on all your services, not only the ventilation systems. And we're finding now that the systems are getting very, very clogged up and are in need of a good maintenance, because they do potentially have the fire risk element. If you can imagine what's up in these ductworks, if it's the kitchen extractor they've got it's normally going to be grease, moisture, a bit of dust. The bathroom, it's paper, lint, bits of skin, all combustible. So if a fire was to start in a flat or one of these social housing and it went up through this little shunt duct, it could ignite straight away. It's got all the elements there for a fire. You've got the ignition, you've got the fuel, and you've got the oxygen. So it's important to have these cleaned on a regular basis. Now, regular basis could be every 5 or 10 years. It could be every 1 to 2 years. No one can give you that magic answer because we don't know. So you have to monitor it. And the best ways for the companies or the boroughs that are looking after it is to have a regular monitoring scheme, which may be once every 2 years, just to have a look at behind the grills. Take some grills out of the wall and have a look, see what's behind there. If it's blocked, there's no airflow, then you've got a problem. But you know, it's easy saying that. The other hard part is delivering the actual cleaning of these stocks and vent systems. And as any company you employ, they should be, as other speakers say, competent at what they do. From Swiftclean's point of view, this is not a sales meeting today, so I'm not going to pitch that too much to you, but we project manage everything from start to finish on social housing blocks. We've been doing it for 28 years. We know exactly what we're doing, but we can't just turn up and do it. We have to go through a process of surveying, discussions, assessment, and finding out what's in the actual building. We know we're going to come across probably asbestos. We know lots of other things that will be in that building we need to take notice of, be prepared to deal with and work around. So it's not a 5-minute job. I'm sure most of you are aware that have put out orders or tenders for this type of work. But the project manager starts right from the beginning where we do the survey, as I said. If we were kindly enough to get the order from yourselves, we would then let a drop 2 or 3 weeks before the works were to start to inform the residents. Because there's no point in you paying for a subcontract company to come and clean all this if no one's going to let them in. So we'll look after all that sort of thing for you. And any good subcontracting company should be able to do the same for you. Most blocks of flats on the high rise normally only have the bathroom. They don't tend to have the kitchen. It's normally the low rise ones that tend to have the kitchen extracts as well. But you've got the potential for fire in both, and you've got the need for cleaning in both. So depending on what stock you've got, you need to look at it and then obviously get some judgment from someone like us.